So I just wanted to share with you guys a couple of quick tips here on how you can stand out from the crowd when you're applying for positions, contracts, could be freelance, could be employment, where there's probably a lot of competition and there's going to be a lot of other people applying for the same job. One really easy way to do that, the first thing that needs to be said here is that a lot of these HR systems now, I think it's called ATS, will filter out the more creative type resumes. So you're doing yourself a disservice if it's not a plain Jane type of resume. I scrutinize this pretty heavily to make sure that none of these things, even the little emojis here, are going to detract and have my resume go straight to the bin. So that's the first thing is make sure that you're blending in, but at the same time, it's a tricky thing nowadays to get recognized. But here's one of the ways you can do it. My resume itself is actually not really tailored for this position that I'm applying for. This is a customer support, like chat support type position. I mean, it is what it is. I'm looking for anything at this point, and that's what you got to do. Explore all possibilities, all avenues. Now, my resume is not tailored for this job at all, but I'm not going to revamp my whole resume and bring out things from 20 years ago and try to make them applicable. Like, it just doesn't make sense. What makes more sense is to say, hey, here's where I'm at. These are my skills. This is what I'm doing right now. In the meantime, I'm still looking for something full time. How it relates is in the creativity and highlighting your skills, particularly with things like cover letters. Now, you might be looking at this thinking, this is just a wall of text. How is this going to be effective? First of all, it's been very thoroughly reviewed for grammar, punctuation, general readability. I put it through AI probably 20 times back and forth, refining it. It adds some stuff, it removes some stuff. I add some stuff, it removes some stuff. It didn't write this for me. We wrote it together based on my ideas. There's this concept out there, this misinformation or misguided folks that are thinking that somehow they're being disingenuous or inauthentic by incorporating AI in any possible way. I'm here to tell you folks, if you're not getting behind AI in 2025, you are going to fall behind and you're really fighting a losing battle. Everybody at this stage been either early adopters of AI or they're using it in some way to increase their productivity, to refine their copy. I mean, there's so many different applications for this stuff. There's no reason to be afraid of it or to reject it in any way. So it's helped me. It's saved me just today in this process with this one job. Something that may have taken several hours, I've now accomplished in less than an hour, probably like 45 minutes. Mainly what it's doing is it's just giving me a soundboard. And that's basically what I use AI for the most, is bouncing ideas off of it. Hey, does this sound crazy? Can I get away with something like saying something this way? Or is that too forward? Is that too informal? And it's really great at saying, maybe this is good, but maybe you should tweak it in this way. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't really agree. And I'll kind of do my own thing or find a compromise. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's dead on. And I have to change things, or it catches stuff that I didn't see. It catches repetitions, little inaccuracies, ways that things are not formulated correctly. It helps me make things punchier and more concise because I tend to be long-winded. So there's a number of use cases and applications for it. Don't be afraid of it and definitely utilize it. So again, this looks like just text, right? So how are you going to stand out with this? First of all, I'm applying for a bilingual position. So I can use that to my advantage since I speak French and I can write decently in French. We'll start off by saying, Bonjour, Squarespace hiring team. They can already tell that, oh, this guy seems to speak French. He saluted us with a French word. And then as well at the end, I'm ending with sincèrement versus sincerely. I thought maybe best regards, warm regards. Like I overthink these things sometimes, but maybe there is no overthinking it. Sincerely is kind of like the safe bet when it comes to endings. And so I ended with, I thought, well, I opened in French. Why don't I end in French? Certainly any HR teams, even English-speaking ones, will recognize, and they're in Europe. They're in Dublin here in Ireland. So they'll recognize French. They see it all the time. A lot of them speak French. That's just one little way to stand out from the crowd. Maybe someone who has the same skills or even has a better handle on the French language wouldn't think of doing something like this, and that might be enough to get the job. Another thing that I want to point out here is, to the point I was making earlier, look at the level of back and forth and iterations. Like, I just want to drive this point home of how much scrutinizing you need to do with anything AI, anything in this realm in general needs to be heavily and thoroughly reviewed, edited, updated, manicured is really what we're doing. We're tooling this to be the highest possible caliber of writing that it can be. And that's where AI can be a very powerful tool for you. Now, in addition to this, I'm including my resume. That's basically what I wanted to discuss. Little things also, like, again, this is a bilingual position, so I'm like, what else can I do? Instead of going by just Matt Leger like I normally do, and having it spelled the anglicized way, I'm using my God-given French name and leaning into that. And then adding also here that I'm bilingual by adding my English nickname. So that kind of explains that, and that puts the best foot forward. So the other thing that can really strengthen stuff like a cover letter, a proposal, even anything like statement of work, is making sure that every single paragraph, this is the way I do it anyway, has some type of value prop. If anybody doesn't know what that is, what value are you bringing forward to this person who's reviewing your resume? Every paragraph should speak to that. Right away here I'm showing that I have customer service experience, I know the platform, I have French language skills, and I've got lots and lots of skills, if they want to keep reading, that I'll go into detail about. White glove customer service, like, they should be able to skim and pick out words that will make them want to read more. And that's exactly what happens here. When you skim through, if I was the recruiter, and that's what you have to do, is sort of put yourself in their shoes, what would I be looking for? Customer support, Squarespace, hey, they're mentioning us by name. White gloves, a thing that stands out for me. Customers, key stakeholders, e-learning, that could be a useful skill. And it relates to my resume. I'm mentioning that here in my cover letter and saying, hey, by the way, if you're reviewing my resume and you're like, what the heck, guy, there's not too much on here, speaking of the skills and qualifications needed for this position. Let me explain that to you and draw several parallels so that you can understand where I've bridged those gaps for you, and how not only do I have the qualifications you're looking for, I actually have qualifications that exceed what you're looking for. And I think I even mentioned here at one point, you can pause the video if you want to read the whole thing. I was actually going to have AI read it to us as we finish here, just to get a sound for it. But I also want to mention that I'm open to other possibilities, other roles, other opportunities that might open the door for advancement. Maybe they're looking for not necessarily another generic customer service associate, but they're actually looking for a supervisor. They just haven't posted it yet, or they didn't think to maybe consider someone from this pool for another one. So I like to make my resumes and my intentions like versatile and open, so that it might fit into more of those boxes and might check more of those boxes for them. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I just wanted you to get a sense of how it sounds and how it comes off here. I just want you to hear what this actual cover letter sounds like, and hopefully it'll give you some ideas of what you can do for your own. And I'm telling you guys, I really feel like I need to drive this home. You have to change it, or train your AI to formulate words the way that you do in your style, or as close as possible. And then if you find something is too rigid or doesn't flow well, come in here and edit the text and have it flow in the way that you would write. For example, let me give you an example here. At the beginning here, it said something that was a very AI generic introduction that I've seen 1,000 times before. So I just removed that and I put something that I would say, which gives me great pleasure to be here or to be able to have this opportunity to apply. That's more the way that I would speak and express myself. Hand holding, the term white glove, that are both in quotations. you can get away with that stuff because that's just the way you speak. I think at one point I say something about, or that might have been another resume. I've done a lot today, but that might be, I think it was something like, I'm all about, yeah, that's what it was. I'm all about mastermind groups, or I'm all about this. It's just the way I speak. And it's okay to let that personality shine through in your resume. That's another way that you can stand out from the crowd for people that are like all robotic or maybe just clearly copying and pasting from ChatGPT. And I would actually suggest you use Claude for your writing because Claude is way better, if you ask me, at writing and sounding more natural. I did catch it now as I'm saying that the other day, being a little bit ChatGPT like and using a lot of M dashes, which is a clear dead giveaway. Even pointed out a few other ones that I hadn't thought of earlier and kind of called itself out on it. And those are the kind of things you have to look for because that will immediately give your cover letter, your resume, whatever, an air of inauthenticity, of laziness, of just clearly this person didn't try. They just went and it looks like that's what it's going to do. It's going to make your resume look like all the other AI generated trash that they're receiving. That's going to go, AI, pfft, garbage. Whereas they come across this, like I said, all it takes is just a few keywords combined with a resume that just stands out just a little bit, that's focused mainly on drawing the attention to what somebody wants to know, right? Clearly this guy's, if it was me, it's not just me patting myself on the back here. If it was me looking at this, I would think, wow, the founder of 2 companies must have some self-discipline, must be a self-starter. Of course I am. I want them to see that. Even though it doesn't relate directly with the position, it still demonstrates some really strong skills and a unique makeup of aptitudes that's what stands you out from the crowd. That's one of the other things, right? So we'll leave it at that, and I'm just going to play the audio here and we'll see what it sounds like before I fire it off.
Professional and warm. A really solid cover letter, Matt. Just a couple of very fine-tuning suggestions. 1. Greeting. In French, the space before an exclamation point is correct, but in English it looks unusual. Since your letter is mostly in English, you might want to remove that extra space for consistency. Bonjour, Squarespace hiring team. It's with great pleasure that I apply for the Customer Support Associate, French language role at Squarespace. While my resume may not reflect every aspect of my customer service journey, I bring over a decade of diverse experience supporting customers across in-person, online, and hybrid technical environments. Over the years, I have worked in grocery and retail settings, call centers, online support roles, and as a system administrator providing tech and chat support, and have been consistently recognized by employers and clients for delivering exceptional white glove customer service experiences. My background also includes webinar production, which required extensive hand-holding with customers and key stakeholders, as well as years as an emergency dispatch operator, where I learned to thrive under high stress while maintaining accuracy and empathy. These experiences sharpened my attention to detail and ability to deliver customer satisfaction at the highest levels. Beyond frontline support, I've led teams as a supervisor and service delivery manager in the e-learning industry, helping colleagues stay productive while raising client satisfaction scores. I am also a skilled coder and web developer, giving me a deep understanding of how software works under the hood. Having used Squarespace myself, I can confidently guide customers not only through troubleshooting, but also in making the most of the platform's creative tools. I believe this role offers the perfect opportunity to bring together my technical skills, customer service experience, and bilingual communication abilities to support Squarespace users in both French and English. I am confident in my ability to resolve issues efficiently, represent your brand positively, and contribute to a high-performing, customer-focused team. Thank you for considering my application. Matthew, Matt, Léger.
Kind of like this one, but this one's saying this, and it gets a little complicated. And plus, they're always going to find more and more things it's going to get very nitpicky and you get too granular. So at one point you have to just call it good. That's kind of funny here. I was going to point out it actually mentioned here at some point, I've been consistently recognized. It's telling me to put it back in now. It actually suggested that I remove that earlier, and I kind of liked it. So there's one example of like it'll never end. So you have to just call it. If it's only suggesting one or two things, then you've updated those things, consider it good. Don't keep going back and forth asking it to verify again. It's a bad habit, and trust yourself as well. You don't have to validate with an AI. Just trust that you know that it's written as best as you can write it, and you've put in the effort. I mean, I've been at this now for an hour and a half almost, so I don't want to put too much more time into this. I have other opportunities I want to explore as well, so you have to be wise with your time. Let me just make this quick edit here. Recognized. No, been recognized by employers. What was he saying? Both work. Consistently recognized as strong. Another really good opportunity to stand out from the crowd and from other people that honestly just don't give a crap is formatting. You might not think that that matters, but it does. It has to look good on your word processor. It has to look good on the PDF that you send, or however you want to do that. It has to look good on mobile because they might be looking at it on mobile. So I might just look at a way to, and you might think it's overkill, but it's not. Maybe justifying it's the way to go. So that didn't really do anything. It does look better though. I might actually leave it. However, that's one area there that might actually work against you if it looks weird on a smaller device or on a tablet and they happen to be reviewing with that, or they have a smaller computer screen. Those are the things you have to factor in. So maybe there's one word that I could remove here. Maybe I'll go over to AI and ask it, please help me remove 2 words from this, but keep the rest intact. So difficult for me not to correct typos, but after talking to a few friends, they said don't bother. The AI will just read right through it, unless it's a really obvious typo, then yeah. Let me see here. Let's try this and then we'll review it, and then we're going to call it good. For anybody that doesn't know, I don't see any M dashes here, but that's a clear indication that you've used AI and that you didn't bother to change it. I'm not saying never use M dashes, but they're obviously way overused by AI. Over the years, I've worked in grocery and retail settings, call centers, online support roles, and as a system administrator providing chat support, and I've been consistently recognized by employers and clients for delivering exceptional white glove customer service experiences. Squarespace hiring team. Sincèrement, yeah, no, that's good. And you gotta see, the AI would have made me just be robotic and bland, but I wanted to add my personality in there. This should actually be cover or Squarespace cover letter. And the reason why I put underscores is if sometimes from one machine to the next, it'll replace a space with like a weird character. And the underscore is, everybody knows it kind of means space. And it will prevent that weird character from coming through, which just makes your file and your file name look worse, I find. It makes it look unprofessional. So at least with the underscores, it preserves that structure. Alright, so I'm going to take a quick look at the download here. Okay, looks good. I'm happy with that. So I should follow the English punctuation. Alright, so I'm pretty good with that. Squarespace cover letter. Now, this is going to need to be renamed because I want it to say my name in there. And it doesn't need to say Squarespace, so just Matt underscore Leger underscore cover underscore letter. And I'll send that over. You can see the application if I've still got it open somewhere. Yes, it is. And you can see my information. I don't care. It's all publicly available anyway. It's all over my social and my website. So there you go. You want to call me out? Say hi. Go ahead. If your number doesn't show up in my whitelist, though, it's going to go to voicemail. So you can leave me a nice voicemail. But yeah, cover letter next. So we'll do that. Get that going here. Beautiful. So now we've got Matt Leger resume, Matt Leger cover letter. Where do you live? Canada. And I'm happy to share all this with you, and there's no confidentiality issues here. My life's an open book for the most part. No plans to move. Maybe this will give you some tips as well. And don't be afraid to run this stuff by AI, right? You can just literally Control A, Control C, drop the whole thing in here. You know, let me even show you so you can see what my process is like. I don't know if I have any time left. No, Claude's expired. Or is it? No, it's 8 o'clock. And this is free. Both of these are the free versions. I just go back and forth between them. One of them is better than the other for certain things. Help me fill out this application for a job. And it'll take you through it step by step. Now again, take that with a grain of salt. Trust yourself. Don't rely too heavily on the AI. But if it has some good recommendations, take them on board. Take the good with the bad. So it's just going to help me go through the application. If there's anything I get stuck on, I'll just run it by and see what it says. That might be the difference of you getting the job or not. Am I actually considering relocating to Dublin? Probably not. But it might make the difference. Who knows? If they make me a good enough offer in Ireland, heck yeah. But if I put no and somebody else in terms of qualifications and experience, they're going to go with them. Because there's no possibility of me entertaining the idea if I put no versus I put yes. It's like, yeah, I'll think about it and consider it. There's no commitment. So yeah, anyway, I think that's it. It's a pretty lengthy application, to be honest. More so than the other ones I normally apply to, especially for this type of position, which is kind of like starting at the bottom, which I didn't really want to do, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do these things in life and to just get to the next stepping stone. That's just how it is. I need to build some more experience. So anyway, I thought as I was going through this that I would share that with you. You can see now, even with your copy, even with your choice of words, even with your personality, you can totally stand out from the crowd and you can get yourself caught as far as the attention goes, and make sure you get not just through the ATS, but that you make it to the ATS and it just doesn't toss your resume aside because you tried to be too creative. I applied for a job with Marketing for Hippies. I really liked their YouTube channel and their operation in general. So I made a customized, unique HTML-based resume. And I converted it into a PDF, and I went through the whole process in the resume and the cover letter and explained how I thought it would highlight how creative I am and how innovative I can be and how I have a varied skill set that I can draw from. But I think my gut's telling me that it may have been too much, and that instead of allowing me to stand out from the crowd, it actually got my resume put into the maybe next time category, or maybe not at all. So it's to find that line, to balance creativity with convention. That's the trick to it. So thanks again for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you next time. Take care.